There will be a blood moon Purim eclipses for 3 years in a row: 2024, 2025, and 2026. How coincidental is that? This is by Michael Snyder. He says, is it just a coincidence that blood moon eclipses are occurring on Purim for 3 years in a row, just as a great war erupts in the Middle East? Yesterday, one of my readers wrote to me and pointed out a video where someone was talking about this. I had previously written about the blood moon eclipse that happened during the second day of Purim on March 25th of this year, but I had not heard that there would be blood moon eclipses on Purim in 2025 and 26 as well. So I started to do some research to confirm whether this is true or not. Now let's remember, March 25th is also the feast of the Annunciation to the Virgin Mary by the Archangel Gabriel, that she would be bringing forth the Son of God. Now, I did a Google search, he says, for Purim in 2025, and this is what I found. Purim in 2025 is on Friday, March 14. Purim is always celebrated for 2 days, so it will continue until March 15. So when I went to Wikipedia and I discovered that there will be a lunar eclipse on March 14, 2025, a total lunar eclipse will take place on Friday, March 14, 2025, the first of two total lunar eclipses in 2025. The moon will take place near apogee during this eclipse, making it appear smaller than usual. This blood moon eclipse will happen on the first day of Purim next year, and it will be visible from Jerusalem. Having confirmed that there will be a blood moon Purim eclipse in 2025, I asked Google when Purim would be in 2026. And according to hebcal.com, the first day of Purim in 2026 begins at sundown on March 2nd, and it ends at sundown on March 3rd. Purim for Hebrew year 5786 begins at sundown on Monday, 2nd of March 2026, and ends at nightfall on Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026. And according to Wikipedia, there will be a lunar eclipse on March 3rd, 2026. A total lunar eclipse will take place on Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026, the first of two lunar eclipses in 2026. This blood moon Purim eclipse will complete the set. And as far as I know, we have never seen something like this happen for 3 years in a row. So what does all of this mean? I don't know, but I will give you some of my thoughts. In the book of Esther, in the Old Testament, of course, we read about the origins of Purim. The enemies of Israel thought that they were finally going to defeat the Jewish people, but in the end, the Jewish people got the upper hand on their enemies. And I think that a similar scenario is playing out today. Iran, Syria, Hezbollah, and other Iranian-backed groups in the region have been preparing for conflict with Israel for years. Collectively, their forces outnumber Israeli forces, and they possess vast numbers of missiles. In fact, Hezbollah alone has an arsenal of at least 150,000 highly sophisticated missiles ready to fire at Israel. Yes, Israel has the Iron Dome, but that system can only handle a limited number of targets at a time. If thousands of missiles start raining down at Israeli cities all at once, Israel will be overwhelmed. Right now, the world is waiting to see how Iran will respond to Israel's stunning events on Damascus. Iran's supreme leader has told the world that Israel will be punished by our brave men, quote unquote. Several of Iran's most powerful officials, including Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, vowed revenge against Israel. The evil regime, he said, will be punished by our brave men. We will make them regret this crime and other ones by God's will. Khamenei proclaimed during the Iranian state-run Press TV propaganda network on Tuesday. Khamenei referred to Israel as usurping and despicable. Now that makes it sound like Iran will take revenge directly instead of relying on proxies to do their work for them this time. Hezbollah is also warning that there will be punishment and revenge, and we shall see what happens. If the response is too severe, it could set in motion a chain of events that nobody will be able to control. Already, one expert is warning that we have reached a point of all-out war between Israel and the resistant Axis. Meanwhile, Bassam Abu Abdallah, who leads the Damascus Center for Strategic Research and is close to the Syrian government, said that before Monday there were rules of engagement, but now it's an all-out war between Israel and the resistance Axis. Of course, if this war was fundamentally altered this week, and it would be difficult to overstate the anger that we are witnessing in the Islamic world at this point. On Tuesday, there were enormous flag-burning protests over all the Middle East. Huge American flag-burning protests have erupted across the Middle East as Iranian protesters gathered to condemn the Israeli events against Iran. In Syria, photos and videos show large groups of protesters shouting anti-Israeli and anti-US slogans in Tehran while burning US and Israeli flags in a show of frustration and anger. At some point in the coming months, I believe that a breaking point will come. And if that combined forces of Israel, Syria, Hezbollah start pouring towards northern Israel, and if thousands of missiles start raining down on Israeli cities, the government of Israel will almost certainly respond with overwhelming force. We're talking about an apocalyptic scenario that nobody wants to see. And right now, we're just one step away from that conflict. When all-out war erupts in the Middle East, we're all going to be deeply affected. The price of oil will go absolutely nuts, and massive unrest will flare up in large cities all over the globe. We should pray for peace, but I don't see any way that an apocalyptic Middle East war is going to be avoided at this point. This is by Michael Snyder on End of the American Dream. What do you think about these blood moons in 3 years in a row? That's unbelievably, well, God has a way. Now, please leave your comments and thank you for your support. Michael's new book entitled Chaos, available in paperback and for Kindle on Amazon, and you can check out his new Substack newsletter right here. About the author, Michael Snyder, extremely controversial new book, Chaos, available in paperback and Kindle on Amazon. He's also written 7 other books available on Amazon, including End Times, 7-Year Apocalypse, Lost Prophecies of the Future America, The Beginning of the End, and Living a Life That Really Matters, commissions earned. When you purchase any of Michael's books, you help to support the work that he's doing. You can also get his articles by email as soon as he publishes them by subscribing to his Substack newsletter. Michael has published thousands of articles on the Economic Collapse blog, End of the American Dream, The Most Important News, and he always freely and happily allows others to republish those articles on their own websites. You can connect with Michael on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, and share his articles on your own social media accounts. It's definitely a great help. These are such troubled times and people need hope. John 3:16 tells us about the hope that God has given us through Jesus Christ. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. If you have not already done so, we strongly urge you to invite Jesus Christ to be your Lord and Savior today. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.